Howdy, and welcome back to another Skylanders Ring of Heroes video. In today's video, we're going to talk about a few tips and tricks that's going to help you progress decently and grind and be all good at this game. So we're going to first go into our Skylander list, like what we have so far personally. And we're going to filter here. Oh, all right, maybe. Yeah, I think this is, yeah, that's good enough. All right, so put our list up like this, and I want to first say when building your Skylanders, I know we want to get the Legos, get our legendary Skylanders, and build as many of them as possible. But just like the old version, this version is no different. With it will take quite some time to be able to do it, or you have to spend a considerable amount of money and able to build out like a full legendary team or something like that. Even just putting resources into one legendary, it just the materials for everything, whether you're evolving, awakening, super boosting, transcending, it's just like it's going to take quite a bit, even the skill ups. So it's not exactly what I would recommend someone to focus on. Maybe one legendary you can have if that's your fancy or whatever, but I wouldn't focus too hard. Now for heroics, they not that far off. Like my Smolder Dash, for instance. There's no way without me spending a considerable amount of money that I will be able to build more than one heroic at a time. So I would keep it at one. Now, keep in mind, while I'm saying this, these tips that I'm going to give, this doesn't apply to everybody. If you're a person that just want to play with your favorite Skylanders, want to have fun, by all means, do you. Do you. This is for people that's looking to a mid-max and get the most out of the resources that they're given in this game. So I want to help you guys out so you don't be wasting a lot of resources building unnecessary Skylanders. Knowing that we can't build every heroic that we pick up that we want and every legendary that we pick up. Now, what are we going to do? Focus more on our rares and maybe a premium or two. I say maybe just like one or two because you don't really want to build all the premiums. They're not the best heroes in the game, but they're not the worst either. So, I mean, you could make some of them work depending on the type of team comp that you'll be building, and we'll talk about that later on. But I would definitely say some of the rares just because they're not as difficult to build, and you might be able to have plenty of resources to work into them, kind of like my Crit King and my Igniter here, both being max skilled if you can look and see both of them being max skilled. And we do have some transcending, they are super boosted to the max, and that's due through summons and everything. If you got, I want to say 50k plus gems for compensation, you're in a really good spot to start off with. You're going to have plenty of Skylanders super boosted right off the bat, so you're not going to have too many problems in that department. Now let's talk about our healers and our tanks, specifically the healers. I'm not going to go too deep into the healers. I chose Grilla Drilla because we all know Grilla was my favorite healer back in the original Ring of Heroes. So we had to go with Grilla because you know Grilla Drilla got them big boy heals. But I would opt to say that Flashwing is probably the best healer to start off with. We do got like gear or whatever's on her. We haven't started building her yet, but at some point we are going to build her. I'm not going to go into too many details. Why? My dude Childish Plays put out a really good video that said any and everything about that, so we're gonna not go into that. As far as tanks go, right now from what I've been doing in the game, I notice a tank isn't really necessary until you do PvP. Tanks shine really well in PvP because, like, even like my dude Chop Chop here, I picked him up from his banner, and I want to say, don't build him. Don't use him. Like he's extremely good in PvP. I mean, if you got the money to spend and max build him, by all means do what you do. But for everybody else, especially if you're free to play, do not build this unit. Like no, not at all. He's going to be complete trash for you, and it's because of his skill too. Like on auto, he just doesn't do well on auto, and he was definitely holding me back until I removed him as far as progression goes. So like you don't necessarily need a tank for progression, because by them pulling aggro, they're going to take a lot of damage, and if they're not really tanky, which you're not going to have the gear to build a super tanky Skylander right off the bat, you're going to take more damage than what your healer can heal, and they're going to die, and it's going to cost you from getting 3 stars on stages. So don't bother with tanks right now. Just go with your healer and a few DPS to help you clear your content. Later on down the line, maybe building a tank will be better. I haven't got really far into the game yet. We're still in the normal difficulty. We're just grinding and everything. We're starting to do C4, which I can just show you guys here. We're starting to do C4 in the dungeons. We got this on full auto. The success is not that great, so we've been kind of like leveling, power leveling and everything so we can get better success for this dungeon. It really took me, like I couldn't even get the 3-star for a while, but I had to remove Chop Chop and bring in Igniter because we didn't have him at first, and literally like I didn't even have Igniter fully geared, and he like pretty much helped me get this done. And now that we got gear on him and everything, we're doing better. So we're about to get everything onto 4-star gear so we can start pushing and getting ourselves even further in. So we're just farming so we can 5-star our team, and then hopefully get our 6 stars rolling out before our first 7 days, something like that. Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to make decisions right away when they play these kind of games because they just want to kind of like go through some guides and see what kind of information people are providing for them to build their Skylanders. And I would say, like, as far as your materials go, of everything is evolving and awaken, super boost for whatever you're super boosting, and your transcendence, and also even your skill ups. Like once you get your team set, go ham, max everything out as best as you can, get as much into what you can for your Skylanders so they can perform at their best and clear as much content as they can possible. Now, probably what is the most important tip that I can give, and our final tip, is building your team. Now, with building your team, this is something I had to really sit back and think about. We was talking about this on Discord, and you should join us on Discord so you can, learn a little bit more about our thought process and everything. But what I was doing was we was talking about like how we was building our team comps, because one of our dudes like legit was like, I want to build this specific team comp and I want to do this, and it was working. I'm like, man, I've already started before you, had a considerable start in grinding. It's like, how is this dude catching up and passing me by? For one, I was using Chop Chop, don't do that, and two, he was building a team comp around a specific Skylander, and everything was working in synergize. Unlike the old version where you just pick explode heroes and then you just clear the game just doing that one linear strategy, there was a few different types of comps that you can run, but nothing was better than explode in the last version. And then you still had the elemental advantage and disadvantage. Now the elements don't really mean much. There's no advantage or disadvantage, so you can take anything anywhere. So you can build one team and do all content. And what makes that really good is to really define how your team comp work is to build heroes upon a specific strategy. And we're going to go in here and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So the best way to go about it, we just click on Boom Bloom, for instance here. Okay, so Boom Bloom has copy continuous damage. So anything that gives continuous damage effects, she has poisons in her kit. We'll copy it and I guess just give it more effects. You see, she got a poison here, and poison explode on this passive skill. So she's a poison Skylanders, so you can build a team comp around that. And the major team comps that you will have will be your Explode, which I don't think as strong as it used to be. It requires you to have Spitfire to get its full benefits. You got Poison, Diminish, Electric Shock, Freeze, and Parts. So those are the major team comps and that you will build your teams around. So for instance, let's say if I wanted to build a diminished team, there are quite a few heroes that we can pick up that also have diminished. Let's go here. Like, let's say if I wanted to use Snapshot in this team, he has diminish on a skill. These are the best diminish. Skylanders are like the legendary light and darks, but there are a few other light and darks. I mean, there are a few other Skylanders that have diminished as you unlock and level up their skills. Some of the skills you don't, some of the skills and everything that you get don't happen until you start skilling up those Skylanders or taking them, I want to say, up the awakening ladder. Then they unlock extra skills. Like here, my Smolder Dash gets a better version of this skill when before it's just explode, so she get the defense down on this as well once I get her to level 6. So got a 6-star and get 2 more awakens on top of that, so we can get the benefit of what that does. So by building a comp around the specific synergies, you will get more out of your team. So you can go in with that strategy rather than just having any and everything. But you can mix and match and do whatever you want because you're still going to progress fine. But I see this game really shining more in the sense of actually having synergies rather than anything else. Like even with Spitfire here, this skill right here. So on this skill, he can detonate explosions. So if you had any Skylanders that have explode on there, he can use this skill and detonate it and cause it to pop airily. So kind of like Sierra and Summoner's War, which is going to be really good to have if you have him and you're building that kind of comp, so you can build around him. Same way with Boom Bloom if you're building for poison, where she can pop poisons. So just letting you guys know these few tips that could help you min max and perform better as you progress through the game. So I hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button. If you didn't, well, there's a button for that as well. Link to our Discord where we will be talking more about the Skylanders Ring of Heroes will be in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment below. Make sure you subscribe and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss a video when it happens, or videos from my other games too. So that stuff as well. But this is your host, Gamer Dude 2088, and I will see you guys next time. Much love. God bless you all. I'm out. Deuces.